Hear the whispers from within, balance to restore, ailings to relieve. Feel the nature keeping us, nature healing us, flowers, leaves, and roots within. Hear the mind calming you, soothing you, love and kindness inside out. Let the herbs from middle world heal. Welcome wellness, welcome wellness. It's revealed herbs, middle world herbs.
Hello and welcome to the Middle World Herbs Natural Wellbeing Series, where we talk about restoring and maintaining your health in safe and natural ways that incorporate both the physical and emotional side of healing. We go live 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every week, we're going to talk about a different aspect of health. And on today's episode, we're focusing on antioxidants, which are substances that can prevent or slow the damage to cells caused by free radicals, which our body produces in response to toxins. We'll be talking with an expert about oxidative stress, foods rich in antioxidants, supplements, and secrets to longevity. My name is Deanne, and I am your host today. I am here with our very special guest, Dr. Kelly, who is a naturopathic doctor practicing since 2013. Dr. Kelly's practice is focused on diet, lifestyle, and herbal medicine, treating a variety of health conditions by fostering health from the inside. Dr. Kelly, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us for today's Power of Antioxidants episode of our Natural Wellbeing series. We are so excited to have you here. And Dr. Kelly, would you mind just briefly introducing yourself and sharing with us more about your journey towards naturopathic medicine?
Hi, Deanne. Yes, thank you for that introduction. Welcome everyone who's here. Deanne, I was never supposed to be a doctor. I'd actually said at least once in my life that the last thing I would ever be in my life is a doctor. But as it happens sometimes, we make plans and then the universe makes new plans. It was my own health issues that I dealt with that eventually led me down this path. When I was just 16 years old, I was already in chronic pain. I don't know if it was being a baseball player or a golf caddy, but whatever it was, my back was always hurting. And then by 20, I had incessant sciatic pain with radiating pain down the legs. And that was a major factor because what I did was I went to the doctor, and I actually saw a few doctors. I saw a mainstream doctor, and then I saw a doctor of chiropractic and massage therapists and other holistic practitioners. That was the perfect juxtaposition for me to see the difference in how people are treated in the different fields. On the one hand, and not to say bad things about mainstream medicine, it definitely has its place, but I felt like I wasn't educated. I wasn't taught about how to learn, how to live better. I was just pushed into a medication and another specialist. Whereas on the other side, getting chiropractic treatments and massage, not only was I feeling better when I left, but they're also teaching me things about how to eat better, how to exercise properly. And I felt myself just getting better and better. Once I've experienced it, it was hard to let it go, and here I am today.
Awesome. That's cool. That's great, like to be able to get into it that way. And I agree with what you say. Sometimes your best plans, it's like throw them out the window because your life is going to take you on another course, and that's super cool. Yeah. Well, before we jump into questions, because I have a whole bunch for you, I wanted to introduce you guys to 3 amazing antioxidant-rich supplements from Middle World Herbs, and they are Immune Support. This is Immune Support with quercetin and bromelain, and then we have Berberine. This is HCl40, and then we also have the Berberine with bitter melon and banana leaf. And I have 1 free bottle of Immune Support. This is going to go to a winner today, and all you have to do is answer a trivia question. So that's it. You have to be watching on Amazon Live to play that game, so make sure you come over to Amazon Live and watch to win this bottle, which will be exciting. And also be sure to hit the follow button to stay connected with us. We want to give a special thanks to every single one of you who has followed us so far. So let's start with the basics of antioxidants. Dr. Kelly, what are they and where do they come from?
That's a great question. Before we talk about antioxidants, we have to start with free radicals, because free radicals are the reason why we even need antioxidants. What free radicals are they're essentially upset chemicals. And why are they upset? They're upset because they're missing an electron. And it's a very, very important electron to them. So they go around looking for an electron to replace it. Now, often what they do is they take an electron from another chemical. And then when that chemical has its electron missing, it is upset now and it becomes a free radical. And this chain of events keeps happening because as soon as a free radical takes an electron from another substance, it creates a new free radical and then a chain reaction occurs. This is especially bad when things get oxidized like DNA. You get electron taken from it, cell membranes, our LDL cholesterol. That's one of the first steps that happens before we get plaque formation is the oxidation of LDL particles from free radicals. So free radicals are going around taking electrons for everything, causing a ruckus. That's where antioxidants come in because they have a whole bag full of spare electrons. So they go around handing out electrons to free radicals that need them, but they themselves are not becoming free radicals. And so that's how how antioxidants stop the chain of the free radical process causing damage.
Yes, no, that totally makes sense. Eva just agreed. What a fantastic explanation of what a free radical is what she just said. And for everyone that's listening right now, if you have questions for Dr. Kelly, all you have to do is type them in the chat and we will answer them. And if you have comments too, we're happy to read those as well. So Dr. Kelly, our bodies use antioxidants to neutralize free radicals, like you were saying, but where do those free radicals come from?
Good question. As with most things, we get some from inside the body, we get some from outside the body. Glutathione is a really important internal antioxidant, but we can also consume antioxidants, and this is a great way to get antioxidants into our body. A general recommendation is to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Those are going to be quite high in antioxidants, and I like to recommend different colors as you're doing it, because the color of the food is actually going to be indicative of the type of antioxidant and the type of effects and benefits that it can have in the body. So a general recommendation is eat the rainbow. Obviously, some colors are more represented than others in fruits and vegetables, but try to get a diversity of colors in your diet to make sure that you're getting various antioxidants. Now, we have some foods that are really, really high in antioxidants. We'll talk about some, but berries and beans are two of the highest food sources. So kidney beans, the cocoa bean, that also has a lot of antioxidants, but also the berries, blueberries, blackberries, etc. Those are great places to get a lot of antioxidants in the diet.
Nice.
And I will say also,
Eric wants to know, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sure. I was just going to say herbs and spices by weight have some of the highest levels of antioxidants. So we'll talk about some good herbs and spices today.
Okay, awesome. Eric wants to know if antioxidants can help with gas. Issues with gas.
Issues with gas and flatulence. Well, to some level, oxidation, that's going to lead to inflammation generally, because the oxidation causes damage. Damage leads to inflammation. Now, when you have inflammation, things are not going to work as well. One of the things that can happen with inflammation, one of the many things that can happen with inflammation is dysbiosis. Dysbiosis can lead to gas. If there are issues causing indigestion, poor digestion, that's another thing that can lead to gas if we're not breaking down food properly. So oxidation inflammation, it can cause all sorts of things, which is another reason why it's good to keep it at bay, because you never know exactly what it's going to be causing in each person.
Okay, thank you, Eric, for your question. And if anyone else has questions, keep them coming. All right, well, I have one for you. So we know that free radicals are bad, but where would they reside in our body, and what exactly can they actually do to us?
Well, if they lived in one place and we could find them, we could maybe cut it out. But unfortunately, the free radicals, they're all over the place. They're traveling in our blood. They're making it to the cells. They're hanging out around the cells. They could be in the cells. They're everywhere. And we can't sequester them or keep them in any one place. So when oxidation is running rampant, it can affect any part of the body. Oxidative stress is linked to all sorts of chronic diseases. It's actually harder to find a disease, a chronic disease not linked to oxidative stress than the ones that are. For example, cardiovascular diseases, metabolic syndrome, I'll mention that later, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, MS, all sorts of conditions, allergies, autoimmunity, they're linked to these oxidative stress, and even the aging process itself. Aging is accelerated from oxidative stress. So these free radicals are everywhere, and they're coming from outside the body. We also make them inside the body, which is why it's important to keep it in balance.
Okay, awesome. Well, I have with me the immune support. This one has quercetin and bromelain in it, and this formula includes 500 milligrams of quercetin per capsule and 100 milligrams of bromelain. So Dr. Kelly is going to explain the benefits of these ingredients, and the bottle includes 60 veggie capsules. The dosage is just 1 capsule every day, and it's $19.99 on Amazon. But for our live audience, we have a special for you guys. Today there is an additional 20% off deal, so definitely order that now. You can see that right on the banner. You just have to click there, and that is all you have to do to get that deal. So let's spend a few minutes talking about quercetin. So Dr. Kelly, why does quercetin pop up so often when we talk about antioxidants?
So this is a very powerful flavonoid. Quercetin is such a potent antioxidant, anti-inflammatory flavonoids. And flavonoids are commonly seen in fruits and vegetables, and they are some of our most potent antioxidants. This is important for the immune system. Now, I always thought of quercetin, at least when I was a student, just for allergies. It's really good at balancing the mast cells that release histamine that produce allergies. So this is commonly seen in allergy formulas, but it does more than that. It is helping the immune system in a lot of ways, as antioxidants often do. And a lot of this is the link between antioxidants and inflammation, and then inflammation and the immune system. When we have a state of oxidative stress, we end up in the state of low-grade, usually low-grade chronic inflammation. So we have inflammation for a long, long time. Now, inflammation, as much as we denigrate it, is actually a good thing. It's a good thing if you want to heal. It's a good thing if you want to fight off an infection. We need to get inflammation. The problem is when it doesn't turn off. When it doesn't turn off, the immune system is constantly activated, because when inflammation is on, the immune system's on. And as the immune system, if it's on for a long time, it's either going to be hyperactive, which we can see with allergies, or it's not going to be functioning well enough, which can happen if people get cancer. Sometimes the cancer is evading the immune system because the immune system isn't up to its peak level. And it can also lead to various infections if our immune system is tapped out and lacking resources. So quercetin is one of the ways it's great. It has a lot of effects, and that's the amazing thing about these herbs. They often have more than one mechanism. But part of its really potent effect is allowing the immune system to rest when needed, and also supporting the immune system with its antioxidant effects.
Okay, awesome. Eva wanted some clarification. She said, so it's toxins that lead to free radicals, which leads to antioxidants, and then that leads to secretion. Did she get it right? Does that sound right?
Well, partial credit. I'll say yes. Now, the full story is we're always making free radicals, even if you're the healthiest person on the planet. If you're making energy, you're making free radicals too. So it happens naturally. However, in our world, in our society, we're exposed to more toxins, more stressors, more things that our body hasn't had to deal with than ever before. So we're really behind the 8 ball, or our immune system is trying to take care of this stuff. So while oxidation is a natural process and one that we utilize, the oxidative stressors and the sources of oxidants, which yes, a lot of them are toxins, toxic chemicals, and things that cause physical or even mental stressors, they are on a level I think never seen before in society. And I think that's why antioxidants are even more important perhaps than they have been in the past.
Okay, awesome. Okay, keep the questions coming, guys. One thing for you, you'd mentioned that we can get quercetin through fruits and vegetables. So could you elaborate on the natural sources of it, and do we get enough typically through our diet?
Sure. So quercetin, yes, found in a lot of fruits and vegetables, apples, especially in the skin. The fruit skins can have a good amount of quercetin. Berries, various berries like bilberry and barberry, red grapes, certain teas like black tea is going to have quercetin, and also onions. You can eat a bunch of onions and get quercetin. So it's a lot of red foods will have quercetin, but it's not limited to that as well. And there are also certain herbs you can take that contain quercetin. Now, to get the amount of quercetin that's found in these supplements, you'll have to work really hard to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and may become a full-time or part-time job. So realistically, to get the levels that we're talking about here, a supplement will get that extra amount. But I do think it's a great idea to also get food-based quercetin, because it's also going to have some other chemicals that are used to being with the quercetin, and it'll probably help synergize well with the supplement too. So I think with your quercetin tablets, eat an apple with it. That could be a good idea.
Love it. Yeah, that's a great idea. So there's been a lot of studies looking into quercetin's numerous benefits, which include, like you said, inflammation, heart health, and even anti-cancer properties. Can you tell us a little more about maybe some of these studies?
Sure. Well, a lot of this, well, what's fascinating is that these herbs, they have a lot of side effects, but good side effects. And so sometimes herbs are thought of for one thing. Like, for example, I thought of quercetin for allergies. But because of its effects with being a powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, it also spreads out and has benefits throughout the body. So inflammation and the cardiovascular system is incredibly important, because inflammation is going to it's going to often affect the blood. The blood goes everywhere, and those inflammatory mediators end up in the blood, and then it gets transported everywhere throughout the body. Also, inflammation, oxidation, and high blood pressure, three of the worst things for the blood vessels, causes damage to the inside the blood vessels, which can lead to all sorts of cardiovascular issues. Endothelial dysfunction is what it's called, and it happens because there's just so much going on in the blood. And so quercetin, which is helping reduce inflammation, reduce oxidation, it's helping almost the whole body through partially the cardiovascular system. And also, when you, as I mentioned, when the immune system is working properly, imbalanced, things like allergies, autoimmunity, cancer, these all can improve, because when the immune system is operating properly, it is meant to be able to handle these things, at least within reason.
Okay, that leads like right into my next question, was about this bottle being called immune support, and it has 500 milligrams of quercetin. So what was the connection? It was what I was going to ask you. What's the connection between immune health and quercetin?
Yeah, that's the major one. The antioxidants, there's a lot of different mechanisms. It helps keep, for allergies, it keeps mast cells from releasing histamine. Histamine is what leads to our allergies. And so by doing that, it helps, but it does all sorts of things. And that's the interesting things about these herbs, is that for a lot of pharmaceuticals, they'll have just one, they call it mechanism of action, one MOA. And with these herbs and foods, they often have multiple mechanisms of action. Quercetin also has COX-2 inhibition effects. Now, anyone who knows, COX-2 inhibitors include things like ibuprofen, naproxen, Advil, Aleve. All those are COX inhibitors, but they tend to be COX-1 inhibitors, and those affect the gut. They can cause ulcers and issues with the gut. Whereas a lot of foods, and quercetin is one of them, has COX-2 effects, which has anti-inflammatory effects and doesn't affect the gut. So there's all sorts of different scientific connections, and I'm sure will bore most people, but let's suffice to say that there's a lot of interesting connections where how these foods help the immune system, and quercetin in particular.
Okay, and then the bromelain that's in this, why would you pair that up with quercetin? Is there a reason that it's often added?
Bromelain is commonly added to inflammation or anti-inflammatory blends. Bromelain is a group of proteolytic enzymes, which means they're enzymes that break up proteins. They break proteins apart, and it's found in pineapple. This is good for inflammation because a lot of these inflammatory chemicals and signals are proteins. So when you break up the proteins, they stop sending their pro-inflammatory signals, and then inflammation can go away. So by throwing in some bromelain with these proteolytic enzymes, it can break down the proteins that are initiating inflammation and can stop it in its tracks. Because sometimes with inflammation, when you get inflammation, you can get more inflammation and then more. There are positive feedback loops involved, which means that once it starts, sometimes it gets worse and worse and worse. And the bromelain is good. It can stop that process and get the inflammation under control and get that nice anti-inflammatory effect quickly.
Okay, cool. So right now this is only $19.99 plus you're getting 20% off. But how about free? I have one bottle to gift to someone. All you have to do is answer a trivia question correctly. The first person to type it in the chat box on Amazon Live will win it. So if you're watching on another platform, come join us over on Amazon Live right now and enter to win this. So here is our question. Are you guys ready? Get your fingers ready. So all you have to do is type into the chat your answer. Which of the following drinks has the highest antioxidant activity? A, black tea, no milk or sugar, just straight black tea. B, orange juice. C, red wine. Or D, apple juice. So which of those has the highest antioxidant activity? Go ahead and put in the chat A, B, C, or D. A, B, C, or D, and I'll go through them one more time. We have A, black tea, no milk or sugar. B, orange juice. C, red wine. Or D, apple juice. So let us know which one has the most antioxidant activity, and you could get a free bottle of immune support with quercetin and bromelain. All right, let's see. Eva has retyped the question for us. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll give you guys a couple seconds to come up with your answer. And if nobody answers it, we will just come back to it. But hopefully someone wants to win a free bottle right now. So A, B, C, or D. Throw your answer into the chat right now for your chance to win. Okay, we're gonna circle back to it. So hang tight. If you have the answer and you're just sitting on it, go ahead and throw it in. Otherwise, we will come back to that one. All right, well, let's go to more questions in chat. So we do, if you're just joining us, we have Dr. Kelly Clow. He is a naturopathic doctor of medicine, and he's here to answer all our questions. And also, if you're finding our series helpful, please always hit the follow button, because that way we can hang out together a lot. And you can also follow at Middle World Herbs on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok for a ton of information about medicinal plants, emotional healing, and natural well-being. Well, you might be wondering what this little thing is that is attached to every single bottle. We call this the Middle World Whisper, and it is a handmade charm with a positive thought, affirmation, or inspiration. And every single time you buy a Middle World supplement, you get a different whisper. So the one that I have on my immune health says, my immune support says, know your worth and add tax. So just cool little sayings and mantras on them. I personally think they are so cool, and the backstory is really interesting too. So the founder of Middle World Herbs was traveling the world, and she visited the archaeological site of the ancient Asclepian temple in Bergamo, Turkey. And that was built in honor of Asclepius, who was a physician in 8th century BC. Now at the time, this temple was one of the most advanced ancient hospitals, and actually the world's first psychiatric hospital. And it's now known that there was really intriguing practices taking place there, including one where patients would slowly walk through a dark tunnel with only small cracks of light in the ceiling, and healers would be above those cracks, and they would whisper words of wisdom and positive affirmations and mantras through the cracks into the tunnel as the patients walked through. And some say they can still hear those whispers today when they go and visit the ruins of the temple. So to honor that ancient wisdom and the power of combining emotional and physical working together, the idea of the Middle World Whisper was born. And that's those small tokens with affirmations on them. And you don't have to be done with them when the bottle's done. You can actually attach them to a keychain, your bracelet, tie them on a gift for someone you love, or just keep it handy for your own mindfulness practice or when you just need a little pick-me-up. All right, well, we have 2 more incredible supplements to share. These are Middle World Berberine HCl40, and we have the Middle World Berberine with bitter melon and banana leaf. So Dr. Kelly, I'd love to learn more about the properties of berberine. And is it an antioxidant?
Berberine has antioxidant effects, so it does fit with today's topic. Berberine is a very potent, very powerful alkaloid chemical. Alkaloids are bitter chemicals, and they're found in various plants of various types. Berberine is one of them. Berberine is found in Oregon grapefruit. It's found in golden seal. It's found in Indian barberry, which is also called turmeric tree. And it looks like turmeric. It is similar color, the yellowish color. It's also from rhizomes and roots like turmeric, and it's in the ginger family, turmeric is. So they're all similar in their effects. The berberine is, as I mentioned, it's a bitter, and bitters are the solutions to problems caused by sweets. In our society, we eat a lot of sweets. We don't eat many bitters. Sweets can lead to all sorts of problems where gain weight, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, a lot of excesses. And bitters are good at calming things like that down. Bitters reduce blood sugar. They've been found to help us reduce weight. Various factors. One of them is reducing the blood sugar. And berberine has also been shown to reduce cholesterol levels, reduce the LDL, which is they call it bad cholesterol, total cholesterol, but also can raise the good HDL cholesterol. So bitters are, I think, underutilized today because we as Americans, we tend to love sweets, and those problems can be counteracted with bitters, but we usually don't like the taste of bitters, especially not as much as sweets.
Oh, that's so interesting. And yes, I have such a sweet tooth, so I need to counteract with my bitters. I want to show you guys the capsules because they have that beautiful, rich, bright yellow color. So I pulled them out. In fact, this supplement has an unprecedented 97% purity confirmed by third-party testing. And that's the Berberine HCl40. And then the Berberine with bitter melon and banana leaf has a little bit of a lighter color since it includes bitter melon and banana leaf in addition to berberine. Both are veggie capsules. They are $60 per bottle, and the Berberine HCl40 is $18.99, and berberine with bitter melon is $20.99. Plus, don't forget, you get an extra 20% off this live. So here's that, just look at that, like super, can you guys see that bright, beautiful yellow color? And then this one, a little bit lighter, but not much. It's still pretty nice, vibrant yellow color in there. So you know you're getting the good stuff. Well, we often get asked between berberine and berberine with bitter melon, how do you choose which one to get? So Dr. Kelly, how would you make that choice?
Well, to some degree, it depends on which is working better to you. But the bitter melon edition is going to have extra bitter effects. As its name suggests, it is quite bitter. I actually bought some bitter melon from Mekong Market in Mesa once, and I cooked it in a soup, and I ruined the soup. It wasn't palatable after all that bitter melon. And that's why it's good to take it in capsule form, so you don't have to taste it. It is the bitters can be extremely strong, and alkaloids over time, I like to pace or pulse my alkaloids, and because they do target the liver, and they help the liver clear itself out. They help the liver detox, which as mentioned, a source of some of these free radicals are waste in the body, things in the body that haven't been eliminated. And that's where bitters are really good. If you have things that are accumulating, bitters can help the body get rid of it. numerous ways. One of them is by helping the liver. And as the liver functions better, we're able to process and clear things out better as well. But our liver's working all the time. Our liver works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So if we push our livers too hard, sometimes we notice some symptoms. And in high dose bitters can cause like GI upset, and bitter melon can cause things like dizziness if you take too much. So bitters are really healthy, but they're so potent that you got to be careful. But this is true for anything. If you drink 100 ounces of water, you'll be healthy. If you drink 100 gallons, you'll be dead. It's the dose that makes the poison. And these are such potent bitter compounds. They help so much that you don't even need them all the time, that the bitter melon is very strong. But it's fantastic, especially for people who have really bad diabetes, really bad metabolic syndrome, or anything with hyperglycemia. So PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, there are all sorts of endocrine and cardiovascular issues that are linked to high blood sugar. And some people, when their blood sugar goes up, they have a hard time bringing it down, even with meds. Sometimes the meds are just enough to keep them in like a little bit high, but they can't even get them down to normal. So for people that, I would say if the blood sugar is really out of control and really bad metabolic syndrome, that's a really good time to start recruiting some powerful bitters that are going to help reduce all of that, reduce the blood sugar, can reduce cholesterol and all of those things that are building up in the body. It helps us clear it out. And no matter how healthy you are, we all need at least a spring cleaning every so often. But for other people, they need more. So berberines have been tested long term. You can take the berberine extract, and it's fine. People get some GI stuff, but usually not. So berberines can be taken for a while. The bitter melon could be good to pulse or to put in a little bit if you need some extra effects.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Eva said she has tried to stir fry with bitter melon, and no matter what, it's still a really bitter taste to mask.
I don't have the time for
she
it.
said, is it about to lower daily dose or shorter consecutive use to decrease the chance of stomach upset? So what would help with stomach upset?
It could be either. Like with the berberines, I would think just lower the dose. With some things, and this gets into more certain herbs, not these herbs. With some, you have to stay off for like a month to give the liver some time to clear out some constituents. Those are the ones with the PAs. These don't have those types of alkaloids. These have different ones. But yeah, I would say if there's GI upset, because bitters can do that, either reduce the dose or take a couple weeks or a month off, and that would be, at least for me, that's usually enough. Because sometimes,
awesome. Well, there's a lot of
something. Sorry.
Okay.
Sometimes when we take something, if we have too much, that's when we start to notice the effects, and we just have to find that right balance. Because in medicine, what I've come to realize is there isn't really good or bad. Is water good or bad? Well, it depends on how much you drink. So it's all about the dose and how much you're taking.
Every time you say water, I'm trying to intentionally take a sip of my water. So I don't drink enough throughout the day. So I will take some more. All right. Well, Dr. Kelly, there's a lot of scientific evidence of berberine's benefits. And if you even do a quick search on PubMed, you're going to get over 6,000 scientific publications. So I know most of us don't have the time to read that. Could you tell us a little bit of the highlight reel of the research that's been done on this herb?
Yeah, a lot of studies on this herb, and this herb is found in various plants and herbs. Berberine is the constituent, it's a chemical found in various herbs. So it's been tested on its own, it's been tested in other herbs as well. So a lot of these herbs, they will, I'll give you the basic, a lot of them have antimicrobial effects. A lot of them have anti-inflammatory effects, and they also tend to reduce a lot of the the excess conditions, as I mentioned before, things related to metabolic syndrome, so heart failure and many forms of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, PCOS, obesity. It's also been tested with fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It can help the liver. It can also help with gout as well. And a lot of things that are caused by excesses and things accumulating in the body and not being reduced, this can help with a lot of that. I'm not going to go as far as say it helps all of it, but it is amazing how the more they test these herbs and the chemical constituents in them, that they often have many actions, many functions. They don't like to be pigeonholed into just one thing, and that's what I find I love about herbs.
Awesome. Well, you convinced me. I popped one of my my Berberine HCl with bitter melon and banana leaf while you were talking. So if you haven't bought it yet, make sure you guys do it now because you get an extra 20% off. The HCl 40 Berberine is $18.99 and the Middle World Berberine with bitter melon is $20.99 on Amazon. Plus, during this live only, you get 20% extra off. Also, as a quick reminder, our return policy extends to 60 days, so you can get the supplements risk-free, see how your body responds, and if you don't see a difference, you can send it back, get a full refund, even if your bottle is half full. Like half full, seriously. Well, our time is almost up, but if you are just jumping on, I'd love to give you guys a mini recap of the products we have showed today. Our theme is Power of Antioxidants, and we've been highlighting the benefits of immune support with quercetin, and that is an antioxidant powerhouse. That's this bottle right here. Immune support also has bromelain in it. And in it also, we have the Berberine HCl 40, which in addition to fighting free radicals is really good for blood sugar support and for helping boost our metabolism. I know we all love that. And it has that beautiful bright yellow color of the berberine in there. And then we have berberine with bitter melon. It is a really good supplement if you're dealing with a toxic overload, especially if you've had too many fried or sweet foods, or you're just trying to like cut down on your sweetness. This bitter will really help with all of that. And another really amazing thing about Middle World Herbs that I want to share with you guys is that we plant a tree every single time you buy a supplement. We've partnered with One Tree Planted to join them on the global reforestation mission. So by buying Middle World supplements, you're not only helping your body, but you're helping the planet. Every supplement purchased equals one tree planted. So Dr. Kelly, as we're getting closer to wrapping up, if you could leave everyone with like your top 3 most important things about antioxidants, what would those be?
Well, first of all, I like trees, so I'm happy to hear about the One Tree Planted thing. That's amazing. I love that this company does that. But yeah, antioxidants. All right. 3 things about antioxidants. Well, the first one is avoiding free radicals is the best way when you can. We can't avoid all of them, but the more that we can avoid things that are toxic, unhealthy, unnatural, stressful, a lot of these are external, but they also could be internal as well. Avoidance is, as much as you can, key, because you'd rather not need the antioxidants and have to consume more and more and more. Number 2, a lot of antioxidants can be found in your diet. You're going to be eating anyway, you're spending time and money on your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Might as well get healthy from it at the same time. And you can do that with a variety of colored fruits and vegetables. Don't have to overthink it, but some of the antioxidants we've talked about today are found in reds and some other vibrant colors. When I talk about the cardiovascular system, I like to talk about berries and cherries and the bright reds, blues, and purples that have potent antioxidants. But you don't have to pick a color or a favorite color. You can get all the colors if you like. And then number 3 is, well, sometimes inflammation gets out of control, especially in today's world where we are surrounded by so much more that causes oxidation, inflammation than did in the past. And some conditions we have are linked to chronic inflammation, chronic oxidative stress. A lot of damage has been done, and we can get stuck in that cycle. So foods aren't always enough. Sometimes you need a little extra kick, a little extra push in the right direction to get things going and to support the body as it recovers from these, in some ways never seen before stressors on the human body. So to wrap it up, avoid when you can. Can't avoid all of it. Get antioxidants in the diet, bright colors, and then, yeah, sometimes we need extra help from supplements. We talked about some good ones today.
Awesome. And one thing I want to get back to, and we have a couple questions too that came in. Let's go back to our trivia question, and if no one answers it, we'll answer it for you guys. But I do want to give someone an opportunity to win the bottle of immune support. So I'll ask it again. Type it in the answer if you know that, and if no one does, we'll just tell you what the answer is, and we'll save the bottle for another winner another time. So here's our question, you guys. Someone, you got to win this. Come on, let's go. All right, which of the following drinks has the highest antioxidant activity? You've been told a lot of info, so if you've been listening, this is going to be sort of easy. Okay, is it A, black tea, B, orange juice, C, red wine, or D, apple juice? Which one of those do you think has the highest antioxidant activity? And we'll go ahead and give a couple seconds for someone to throw their answer in the chat, and if you get it right, you will get a free bottle of immune support sent. And if nobody answers, I'll just tell you guys I'll have Dr. Kelly explain the answer. So we'll give you guys a couple seconds. Take a sip of my water. See if anyone has an answer to that question. What drink has the highest antioxidant activity? Anyone have your answer? All right, well, let's let Dr. Kelly tell us a little more about the answer. And the answer is red wine. So if you were thinking red wine, but you didn't type it, well, that is the answer. It is red wine. And Dr. Kelly, is it any wine, or does it have to be red? I love red wine, so that's exciting for me. But what about for everyone who just likes all wine?
Yeah. I mean, what's not to love about red wine? That's one more thing to add to the list. Wines are made from grapes, fermented grapes, right? So what's in the wine has to do with what was in the grape. That's a big part of it. Red grapes are very high in quercetin and other. And it's not to say that you're not going to find antioxidants in the white wine, but the red wine, as mentioned before, the colors are so important to let us know what antioxidants are in it, that the red wine is going to be specifically the one with quercetin and with other potent antioxidants. It's not just quercetin. There's quite a few, but quercetin is obviously one of the heroes in red wine.
Awesome. Okay, well, we got quite a few questions that came in from Eva. Okay, we'll try to knock each one out. What is the best way to prepare vegetables to retain the most antioxidant activity?
That's a good question. There's different schools of thought there. Some people say to keep it raw. You keep it more living. That could be tough on digestion, and sometimes when people go too raw, actually their digestion gets really bad and they get weak and unhealthy. So, but if you're cooking in ways, especially when it's vegetables, that you're not going to lose the nutrients, that's really important. So things like boiling vegetables, if you're going to boil a vegetable, throw the water out, you're going to lose some nutrients there. Steaming, grilling, there's a lot of different ways. Grilling, some people don't like that. But I usually I like to cook my veggies, but I don't like to overcook them, because I think if we cook them too much, we go beyond the helping break down the food, break down the cell walls and things so that we can digest it and get the nutrients out easier. We can go too far and then just ruin it and ruin the health benefits of the food. So I would tend to say probably a combination of raw and cooked. Cooked in a way where you're not going to lose the nutrients. Now, the weaker your digestion, probably the more you should cook your food. And it also tends to be, as we get older, we tend to do better with cooked foods because our digestion isn't as good in general.
Okay, that's really interesting. All right, what about Is there a connection about free radicals in genes?
Yeah, so if the free radicals get to the genes and they change the genes, they can turn them into tumor genes, basically. They can lead to cancers. Uh, Genetic changes, a lot of them caused by various forms of oxidative stress, but getting genetic changes is one of the things that precipitates cancer development. And so that's why the more oxidation that's going around, the more inflammation that's going on. This is happening all the time anyway, but it's just going to happen more. And it's going to be a lot harder for the body to keep it in check and to make sure that cancer cells aren't growing out of control. So yeah, cancer is a major one of the major connections. One of the more important and dangerous connections we have with free radicals. Because it's going to make us age faster. We're going to have all sorts of issues. But cancer is a real major one that's also linked to it.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Eva, ask the one again about the toxins because I'm not sure what you're trying to ask there. What environmental toxins kick of? Ask that one again. But she also asked, do X-ray and mammogram cause an increase in free radical damage? So if you are getting a mammogram or you have to go get an X-ray, is that going to cause an increase in free radical damage?
Yeah, anything that causes what's called ionizing radiation. So not MRI, but X-rays and other things like that. They cause ion. They send in really high energy particles and can kick off electrons. And once you kick off the electron, that chemical is pretty upset. Now it's going to start stealing electrons from other chemicals. So yeah, a lot of certain tests, like certain angiograms, can be really high in certain exposures. If we're going in to get X-rays or getting dental work, it's going to be focused. But we have a lot of different exposures. Admittedly, the sun is a source of ionizing radiation as well. But compared to other things, especially for people, if they're getting a lot of imaging studies and they're getting a lot of and they're smokers, that's going to be a major cause of oxidation. Smoking, environmental pollution. There's all sorts of pollutants around us, in the air, in the ground, in the water. They're everywhere. And so that becomes a main issue, is trying to all of that as well.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. What about, oh, we did. Okay, thanks, Eva. And then your other question, Eva, was, do vitamins also contain antioxidants?
Some of our vitamins are very powerful antioxidants. Vitamin C is a potent antioxidant. It's the one that most people think about when it's cold and flu season, get an infection, take some vitamin C, helps boost the immune system. Found in oranges and citrus and stuff like that. Vitamin C, and at very high levels, it's sometimes used to get even more of antioxidant effects. Vitamin E is a fantastic antioxidant for the brain in particular. So for those of you like me who are worried about brain health as we get older, knowing that by the time we get 80 years old, it's like 1 out of 2 of us is going to have Alzheimer's or some form of dementia. Well, keeping the oxidation out of the brain is really important for that. And these conditions come with high neuro meaning brain, oxidative stress. And so, yeah, absolutely. Vitamin E is a great thing to take to help reduce the oxidative stress in the brain and the nervous system. There are other vitamins that are antioxidants as well, other minerals. The amazing thing about foods in nature is that obviously inflammation is, on the one hand, it's necessary for us to heal and be healthy, but it's also something that can get out of control. Thankfully, nature has provided us with a lot of sources of antioxidants, so many options to help that aspect of it, as if it knew, is very important. And so, but some antioxidants like quercetin and bromelain, which is going to actually break things down, can be incredibly potent to help support us. I will say another thing I want to add about bromelain. Bromelain and quercetin both, but bromelain is especially used for this because it breaks down those proteins. Good for pain, like post-workout pain, arthritic pain, stuff like that. It can be really good for pains.
Oh, good to know. That's awesome. Okay, well, I hope everyone is really enjoying our natural wellness show today. I'm learning a ton, so thank you, Dr. Kelly. And please hit the follow button right now if you guys are loving it and enjoying it, because that's a really good way for us to all stay connected here on Amazon Live. You can also follow us at Middle World Herbs, and we're on all the different social media channels as well. So it looks like we just got a follow. Thank you guys for that follow. Make sure you just hit that follow button. Also, you guys get 20% off during the live today, so make sure you check out. If you have the item in your cart, hit checkout before we end the live so that you can take advantage of that 20% off. We are live 2 times a week on Tuesdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have Dr. Jackie, who joins us on Fridays, and Dr. Kelly is joining us on Tuesdays. So we have him joining us on Tuesdays. Oops, let me just clear something right there. My phone gave me a low power mode. That's okay. So always have your questions ready because you get to ask away, and I always will have good questions too. Next week, we're going to be talking about stress, which I know a lot of us feel all the time, mood and cognitive health. So don't miss out on that. And a big, huge thank you to Dr. Kelly for joining us today and for sharing your amazing energy, passion, and knowledge of naturopathic healing. It was such a pleasure to have you on, and I look forward to having you on next week to hear your insights on cognitive health. So thank you, Dr. Kelly.
Thank you for having me, Dan, and then thank you everyone for joining. Yeah, if you have any questions, let us know, and we'll let you know. This is our passion. And foods and herbs, they're all around us. They're nature's medicines. That's the way I see them and we see them. Thank you for having me and allowing me to talk about this today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, seriously, you've inspired me a lot and gave me a lot to think about when it comes to antioxidants. It wasn't something I knew too much about before. I knew a little bit. I kind of knew, eat certain foods like blueberries and that type of thing. And red wine, I did actually know that. But, all the things it helps with and how these supplements like immune health and the berberine, what they can do with the bitters, you really opened my mind to that. So I'm excited to hear next week on the cognitive health as well. Eva says, thank you for being so helpful as well. So if anyone has any last minute questions, definitely throw them into the chat so we can answer any last minute questions. Otherwise, we have our 3 supplements we highlighted today, which are the immune support, and that one has the quercetin and bromelain. And then we have the berberine HCl40, which has that amazing berberine bitter. And then this one is the berberine with the bitter melon and banana leaf added as well. So you get those 3 ones are at 20% off today. We also have some more in our carousel right now that you can grab at 20% off. So if you want to grab mushrooms, if you want to grab the liver detox, as well as the prebiotic and probiotic, those are available at 20% off right now. So you might want to take advantage of that while you can. I mean, why not? 20% off, that's a pretty good gift to have. Okay, let us know if you have any sort of questions coming in for our last couple minutes as we wrap up. Hopefully you learned a lot as well. I definitely feel like I learned a lot, and we'll be doing next week. We'll have a little bit more on stress, which is a good topic. All right, well, I think we just have 2 minutes left. James, do you want me to keep going the 2 minutes, or do you want to wrap up? We're good? All right. We are solid, guys. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on this episode. It is always such a pleasure. I'm your host, Deanne. I'll be back with you again soon. Have a fabulous, healthy, and restful rest of your night.
Hear the whispers from within, balance to restore, ailings to relieve. Feel the nature keeping us, nature healing us. Flowers, leaves, and roots within. Hear the mind calming you, soothing you. Love and kindness inside out. Let the herbs from Middle World heal. Welcome wellness, welcome wellness. It's revealed herbs, Middle World herbs.